What's going on, guys? Uh, it's 2:47 West Coast time p.m. And it's still the 15th of January 2023. I'm feeling my age. I'm feeling my age because every time I keep going on YouTube and start looking at some of the retro stuff, then I'm starting to remember some of the stuff I was like a youth and watching all this stuff. But more of the nostalgia, more of the feelings for it, and I'm understanding the trap regarding how the older generations felt when their stuff was becoming retro. We call it these days nostalgic, classic, old. I'm reminded of it because this year I turned 58. I listened to the music themes back in the 80s. Some of the themes in the 70s, not so much, but the 80s, there were a few artists out there who did classical television music for musical themes. Maybe a short minute and a half or two, but they are fully length in certain areas. And they produced a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, or bit of nostalgia for some of the older themes. But listening to this stuff, it's like I got more and more used to the musical themes than I did about the actual shows or the actors. Because to me, the music was it, the classical themes. Have you ever seen the repeat show Cheers? Everybody knows by name, that kind of song. That's a classic right there. Or Believe It or something like that from The Greatest American Hero. If it's not the songs that get to you, it's the melodies. Hill Street Blues from Tom Post, actually from Mike Post. He did a whole slew of them. And some of these themes are lengthened that you can just listen to them for hours if you could at a time. Repeat it, but it still gave you a wave of comfort, familiarity, time long ago, time long past, that you can't communicate it to the youth because they're still going through their time, their effort, their energy. This is their time right now, pushing away the past. If I happen to go back onto YouTube again, probably another tab set up. There's a thing I wanted to find out while I'm online right now. Okay, mobile hand, the Twilight Zone. Let me do a search on this one. Hang on. How is it? No, is it? The obsolete man. This was the episode that still reminds me of how the generational gap is. I try to talk about this one and the Wind Files on this one, and maybe a few others. But it's regarding the old getting dismissed by the new. And at the end, this one judge who was pushing out the old becomes himself judged at the end. And I remember at the end of this thing where the protege of the judge was the judge. And he's going to the guy, "You are obsolete. You are obsolete." Granted, this is way over 50 or 60 years old. They got a full thing online for this one. But I'm just trying to get into one particular area that I just wanted you to listen to. If I can just find this video real fast, because this one would tell you something here. Okay, let me see if I can pull it up. Now just listen.
Stand where you are. No further. You have been removed from office. The field investigators have declared you obsolete. Obsolete? You have disgraced the state. You have proven yourself a coward. You have therefore no function. You are obsolete.
But I'm not. I'm not obsolete.
You are obsolete. You are obsolete.
You're making a terrible mistake. A tragic mistake. I'm not obsolete. I'm fighting for the state. I've helped the state. I've helped give the state strength. How can you call me obsolete? How can you? Please, I'm not obsolete.
Of course, the guy approaches and everyone else is gathering around the accused. They're all dressed in the same wardrobe. They're all just waiting to pounce on the guy.
Please, I'm not obsolete. I have a function. I have a purpose. Please, please. I want to serve the state. Please, please, no. I'm not obsolete. No, no, please, please, I'm not obsolete. No. I want to serve the state. Please, please. No. Serve the state.
The Chancellor, the late Chancellor, was only partly correct. He was obsolete. But so is the state, the entity he worshipped. Any state, any entity, any ideology that fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete.
Yeah, but I even equated it to the youth versus the older at this point. The guy no longer figures he's functioning these days, and he's no longer part of what is today. He starts to feel that way. He starts feeling nostalgic and conservative, and wants things to remain the way they used to be. And the problem is that I keep coming across left and right as an older fart. My viewpoints, my perspectives have changed and grown and mutated because I've gotten older, and I can't seem to function in a young man's world that finds things in a different viewpoint than I used to. Hence, the damn thing is here. The obsolete man means of one thing if you're going to be part of a functioning state. But what happens if we're not talking political here? We're talking about natural, or we're talking about age. We're talking about the old versus new. We're talking about how maybe in a pack of lions that a change of guard tries to happen. The old guard has to fight off the young lions before it becomes the old lion's turn to be torn apart. And then the youth take over. Or they have to go out and take care of their own. And then attack the other lions anyway. Sometimes I feel like we're like that these days. Our viewpoints that we've grown, that we've learned, that we mutated into, that we've aged, and that we see things with sadness sometimes because we want things to be as we used to enjoy them. I guess hence in a way where it fits part into the mourning and grieving process. So I probably would say that this channel would probably fit that in a sense. Because I'm feeling more and more disconnected with this world. I'm feeling more and more disconnected with people going after each other left and right. They want things remaining the same, and the other people want more dynamic. Well, dynamic is the youth, is the energy. But the older, they want a more set ways, conservative. And if they're living longer and they got more of a larger population, then the youth really got a problem because some of them get caught up in, well, we like to have things the same. No, you don't. No, you don't. You want to learn what's going on, how we screwed up. You want to learn from us how not to screw up on those kind of decisions. But you got new decisions and new things to learn about that you'll screw up on, and you'll have to learn and you have to grow on that one. Grow out of your own mistakes in this one. We put our own knowledge into books and into recordings and stuff because we want to educate the youth just to avoid the mistakes we've made, we've created, and we made, and we're unfortunately passing on to the youth. They got the better ideas sometimes, but it is recycled because everything is recycled. That's how I look at it. We want things remaining the same for conservatorship. We want it status quo because we want to go back in time one way or another and live in that time because we thought it was all right. Without even understanding that we had a childlike attitude, a youthful innocence. We didn't see the complications like the older generation had or trying to educate us about. We didn't want to. Just like we're dealing with this generation and the future generation after that. We are considered obsolete. When you're considered obsolete, you're feeling thrown out because the youth probably don't want to hear about it, and sure as hell our own damn generation is saying, shut up already. We want to deal with the fantasy. We want to stick our heads in the sand and just hum real loud and not deal with the consequences afterwards. The older can't deal with the younger generations or the current situations. We want it back to where it used to be, and we can't get it back there. No matter how many times I keep hearing from the conservatives, one way or another. Yeah, swinging the pendulum again on this one. I was listening to a lot of music from the 80s. Not just the tunes that we would hear in the rock stations, but no, no, no. Television tunes, as I was trying to make an indication here. Because some tunes would stick with me. If I listened to them long enough, they became part of my mind. Or I keep listening to them from time to time to switch on the thing and just deal with the elements of that. And yeah, it would put me into the mellow mood of sorts, longing, nostalgia, that kind of crap. Still realizing that when the Twilight Zone pops into my head of the obsolete man, and hearing as you are obsolete, that's the youth looking at me saying you are obsolete because we no longer live and deal with you. And having the people pounce on the guy. You're no longer fit. You're no longer part. You're thrown away. You're tossed out. You're discarded. You're casted out. How dare you be this way? And then there's other movies that we've seen like that. One happens to turn a little bit of rebellious about it. Go for their simplest childhood cartoon, the movie called Robots. DreamWorks did that one. But it was pretty cool, too. You get an old clunker society trying to get along with their own parts, exchanging parts for everything else. You get a new robot, and they have to deal with the used parts all the time, recycled or refurbished, but they're still mutating into something else. But then you get this one guy who wants everything shiny and new and pristine. And he likes it that way. He wants the world that way. He wants everyone else to be like that. We're also dealing with that kind of mentality. We are. We're considered obsolete if we happen to look for individuality, creativity, or just functionality and recycling. As I said before, we are a recycled society a long time ago. So is the Earth, so is the universe, one way or another. It recycles itself, tries to renew itself, refurbishes. How do you think the water keeps getting recycled one way or another? The Earth is trying to find different ways on how to deal with mankind, but if we weren't doing all the damn dirty work, the universe was still doing its own damn dirty work. Still trying to recycle things atom by atom, molecule by molecule, chain by chain, galaxy by galaxy. We have white owls out there. It's like they're still trying to prove those. Dark matter. Well, we don't know what the hell that damn thing is. We just call it dark matter because that's what we know of, and we don't know about it. I know about black holes being cosmic vacuum suckers. Do they happen to, I don't know, get reprocessed into white holes? I mean, somewhere after the point of singularity, does it turn into a white hole where everything else drops out? Maybe new matter or something like that, reconstituted? Of course, we have the nebulas left and right, and stars being created in nebulas, and then move out to their own areas, their own solar systems, live out their days, their their eternities, maybe. So we see the universe in action on that one. Handy thing. But we're too short sighted. We're too live for the now and screw everything else. Constantly use it up, and then after that, what then? Scream and yell and bitch and gripe at each other until the whole planet becomes a desert. And then what happens? Well, it would turn out to be like Mars or Venus. Depressing as hell, ain't it? Eventually, the star will go nova and wipe everything else out of existence, and molecule by molecule, scattered about the cosmos, maybe picked up by something or someone, and atoms get to be reconstituted into something else, or recycled or refurbished. New life, one way or another. Replacement parts. We have a very short, finite span of life. And we can't even appreciate it in the first place. No, we just go out and try to beat the shit out of people left and right. Fight for a constant survival. We want new. We want new. New as in beyond your own experience or imagination. Some of the concepts we keep reintroducing are reinvented, recycled. So before, the universe is recycling. Why not us? If we can't do that for ourselves, then I don't know what the hell we're going to do for ourselves. But being nostalgic all the damn time and thinking back to only one particular point of time. Maybe when your existence is up, and maybe if there's a heaven out there, and I think there is. Maybe in one portion of eternity, you could just find a nostalgic bar. Maybe you can find a Cheers out there, and you hear the Tatooine jazz band playing like crazy. You'll find a Norman bar of a funny Ferengi dealing with the drinks, doing Dabo. Somewhere in there, you'll find other types of characters that you already got used to, and maybe you think you're in heaven or just somewhere else. Are you going to be willing to sit there in the bar and keep drinking or schmoozing, or are you going to just wander off? If you got the wanderlust, maybe. But are you just content to be there for the rest of the eternity? Have fun. Probably listen to the same music over and over and over again. Some people will probably want that. A little dance to it, jig to it, party hardy with it. Or just sit back and reminisce of what their short lifespan has been. And keep putting that on recycling tapes. Or tapes that keep replaying it, repeating, that's what I meant, not recycling. Repeating, 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 repeating. Until how much can you stand, or you're going to be just numb to it all and just keep repeating yourself. That's the problem in this particular life right now. That the problem is that we deal with our own internal issues, our own traumas, our own stuff we're dealing with. We're repeating left and right. We got the repeat button stuck right now. We can't live, but we're surviving. That's the thing. I also say that about myself. I'm saying that about myself because I'm seeing that happen to myself more often. I'm more often of a repeater at this point over here and still stuck in the damn past instead of just looking forward constantly to tomorrow. And people may think, he's a conservative. No, not really. Because forcing my issues down people's throats is never what my issue. It was never my thing. I don't like when people keep forcing issues down my throat saying you must be this and you must be that because I said so. And I've got a lot of finger digits I can throw at them at that point. And yes, I'll listen to the music that I'd listened to a long time ago, and I'll feel the waves of nostalgia. I'll feel the waves of what it was like. But the problem is, I had different perspective. I was a different person during those days. So I don't know where I get the nostalgia feeling coming into play here. I don't understand that. Because times were different, viewpoints were different, my ages were different. I was going through a hell of a lot of crap in those days. But now I got to be nostalgic about it every time I keep listening to it. But the thing is, I liked listening to it. That's the trapping thing. It's like listening to the classic rock station about your favorite tunes every so often, and you're stuck with it in your head. And you're also stuck with it on the radio. But, those are the days you kept reliving. Were they good days or were they bad days? Were they good times or were they rotten times? I had mixtures. Everyone has got mixtures on the thing. So I never could quite understand about the nostalgia that we're dealing with these days. Or trying to be conservative. Because in our own damn viewpoints are usually overlapping everybody else in order we're having conflicts left and right. Whatever may be good for one person may be terrible for the other person. And they're saying, you can't force this shit down my throat. Oh, yes, I can because I want it because I'm in that kind of zone for it. Well, here's a digit for you. As you'll usually call an extension of one of the phalanges on the finger. But I can listen to the music and I can try capturing some of the feelings personally for myself without shoving it out on people's face. I like the Beta of Aerowolf when it comes out and the long term event. Alright, there's Hill Street Blues, as I said before. There's also Straight Hawk out there. Yeah, nice about that one. Oh, my dog's calling for me. Give me a second, guys. I think I'm going to be done for right now.